take me to the moment that you found out about your brother's accident and what you're told.
Yeah, so I had already come into the house fragile, just having packed up enough stuff to either move out of Seton Hall permanently, to never return, or maybe at some point you can pull yourself together and return to college. So I didn't know how I was leaving, but I just remember driving home in a bad way, just contemplating just how badly things were going for me and how far off course and how embarrassed and how much shame I felt returning to Jersey City, a place that celebrated me and my family a lot. And I just remember being up watching Bob's game because we had the satellite dish on the roof at our house, and we caught his game, and then I just went to bed, and then I remember just getting that call that night of like frantic yelling, screaming, crying that my brother was in the ER and the accident was life-threatening, and then it was just scary, man.
What are you told about what the injuries were?
Well, it's just life-threatening, ambulance, ICU, book flights. Back then, the way you could get flights was you called the airlines. So it was a very scary, and you don't want to hold the phone because you've got the hospital calling and the agent there. So.
The torn windpipe, 2 collapsed lungs, broken ribs, fractured back, ligament damage to the knee. Was there a moment during that process that was scariest?
I mean, just the reports that you were getting back home, and my parents go first, and then, so then they call you and tell you what Bob looks like. You're like, the descriptions are bad, and then you lay eyes the first time and you see him, and his body's bloated, and he's just, he's got the scar. I mean, you're not even like thinking about the head trauma and the gash on his forehead, the scarring, and just on top of everything, he doesn't look like the same human being.
Why at the time did you wish you were the one in that crash?
The shame I felt at the time, and just with our family and the standard and the Hurley family, and how far away I was from being where I needed to be for the group, for the family, and for myself, and just how worthless you feel at that point. No area of your life is going well. You suck in school. You've got no relationships. You're a horrible player. You've got no faith. You don't believe in anything above just hanging out and drinking and doing everything either mediocre to bad.
You had quit the team, and then there's a moment you're back at your dorm room. Mm-hmm. Your brother leaves. Your Jersey City friends that were there leave. Take it from there.
Yeah, just holed up and would not leave the room. No food, nothing to drink, nothing to eat.
Won't take calls from
Won't
anybody.
take calls, phones going off in the room, hallway phones going off. I could hear it in the hallway, and we're the only people on campus. It's winter break. It's just the basketball team. So, there's the banging on the door, and your family doesn't know where you are because no one from Seton Hall was reaching out for them. I think we had a day off that next day. So I don't think that they knew that I had basically shut it down until, day 2 going into day 3 where no one had heard from me. So that's where off day Saturday, no one notices that you've gone underground. Then the next day on Sunday, you don't show up for practice. Okay, they're probably starting to look around for you, but not until that night where you still haven't surfaced into that next morning did anyone start really even coming to look for me. So it was probably about 48 hours.
What do you think got you to the place where you were considering taking your own life?
You go and eventually they talk you into, you get talked into coming out of the room to go with your mother to, psychologists and to get analyzed that way. And I think the first couple of professionals I went to talked about, potentially doing a medication, which was scary for me and not what I wanted to hear.
But has been hugely helpful for plenty of people.
And it helped plenty of people, but it wasn't something that made me feel good about where I was at, that I couldn't kind of fight my own way through it. So, I returned to, I remember getting in the car that night while my mom was driving me back home to Jersey City. It was dark outside, and you're thinking about everything. Again, you're failing. You're failing. You're struggling. No area of your life has any quality to it. It's just, you're not healthy. You're an absolute mess, and it just, what you've invested to this point, what your father's invested, what everyone has invested in you, your community, you're failing yourself, you're failing everybody in your mind. That's how you're personalizing the whole thing, and you know it.
Only time in your life you've ever had those thoughts?
Yeah, you've had times where you feel pretty crappy. You go through the health scare and you're not sure what has you in this funk. I know losing to New Mexico State here, my fourth year here after the back-to-back failures, was a really jarring moment. Nowhere near these other ones, but it knocked me underground for a couple days, and didn't deal with the media for close to a month. And I did my job. I was able to function well enough here, but mentally and personally, that was a brutal off season and summer.
When you've been in those moments, what are the tools you found most effective for pulling yourself out?
I just found a couple of years back when I literally could not get out of bed, and I could not function, and I wasn't going to be in coaching much longer. Just sought some advice from some really smart people that got me to invest in a morning routine. That would get me up and get me moving.
And so for you, that's what?
For me, that is immediately upon waking up, just getting my mind on the Bible. In reading scripture for 20 minutes.
And by the way, did I understand it correctly that regardless of time you go to bed, you're pretty much up at the same time?
Yeah, I'm going to be up. I'm going to be up at this time of year. I get to sleep a little bit more. I'm trying to build my strength up in the off season, but I won't sleep past 6 for the most part. And then I'm up for half an hour of prayer and Bible. Then I'll do another maybe 20 minutes of journaling and meditation practice. And then I'm going to go hit the gym hard, especially with the cardio, and I'm going to get that heart rate up. And then I'm going to go get in the sauna for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to either plunge cold or I'm going to go cold shower based on what I have access to. And then I'll read a little bit, and now by the time 8:15 has hit, I'm ready to go. I've got momentum. I've had victories in the morning. I've got a different energy about me, and then I feel like I'm ready to go.